Hello everybody, this is JBR3 Collector back with another tier ranking video. This time we're ranking Hasbro Toylines. This is the first of an ongoing series where I rank a individual company's different lines of figures. So maybe next time we'll do McFarlane or Mattel, whatever, whoever you guys want to see next, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll be doing that until the end. We do an overarching toy line thing where we rank, Legends versus Mafex versus McFarlane, DC versus etc. Eventually, that's an eventuality thing here. Starting off though, let's just get into this specific video. First up is my personal favorite toy line of all time. It's the toy line I have the most figures of in my collection, over 1,000. Been collecting it since 2002. It's the 20th anniversary this year. It is Marvel Legends, and Marvel Legends, straight off the bat, is not going S tier. Marvel Legends is going A tier. There's a lot of improvement that's needed in the Marvel Legends line. 20 years into Marvel Legends, and it doesn't feel innovative anymore. Everything else has caught up with Legends and either surpassed them or is on the same level as them. But, not even, 6 years ago, Legends was still the pinnacle of toys, of articulated, American toys anyways. And now it's just kind of fallen back on the wayside. But I still love the line anyways. Biggest faults with the line are, occasional scale issues, reuse of body molds, which is not a problem to me, but reusing them in improper ways, that's an issue. It's been happening pretty often lately. Just look at that new Molten Man figure, for example. Marvel Legends releases more individual toys than I think any other adult collectible line. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's a true statement. 20 to 125 Marvel Legends released every year, and I usually buy about 60 of them. I buy the comic figures. I don't buy the movie figures. I don't buy the video game figures. I don't buy, there's a lot of things I don't buy. I'm not a completionist. But I do get almost every single comic figure they make. So that's that. And so because I only really buy half the line, I'm sorry, Marvel Legends, you're not going S tier. And then next up is another big property is Star Wars, Star Wars Black Series. I think Black Series has been going on for about almost 10 years now, which is a milestone by itself. People seem to have fallen off the love of Black Series over the years because, while Marvel Legends hasn't really changed much over the past 5 years or so, Black Series has actually kind of regressed. They've gotten better with the head sculpts and likenesses, but then the articulation has gotten worse. The Stormtroopers went from having double jointed elbows to having single jointed elbows now. I'm not even a Star Wars fan, I just know this from reviews I've seen, and it's kind of discouraging to people. The character selection is not as good as it once was either. What's always been weird about Star Wars Black Series is that it's a different scale than Marvel Legends is. They both claim to be 6-inch scale, but Legends is more like 6.25, 6.5 inch scale, while Black Series is true 6-inch scale. So you can't really use them together if you wanted to do that. I don't see why you'd want to do that, but if you wanted to do that, there's no way you could make it look good having crossover between Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series. Maybe on occasion you can, but most of the time it just seems off. But all those issues combined, Black Series is B tier. They've had some major failures with HasLab over the past year. I think that just goes to show how the fans feel about the property at the moment. And I've heard people are disappointed by that. People are always disappointed by the live streams that Star Wars does. The Star Wars team does. So Star Wars Black Series is B tier. It's not a bad ranking. It's just not, there's a lot of improvement to be made on the Star Wars front compared to the Marvel Legends front. Up is a fairly recent acquisition by Hasbro. This is the Fortnite Battle Royale series. Previously, Jazzwares was making Fortnite figures, and they were okay. People seem to actually like them. They had those hinged hands and the toe joints, which is like reminiscent of the old Toy Biz days, which brings back some memories. But that's kind of outdated in today's action figure world. New Hasbro Fortnite series. The figures look decent. I'm not a Fortnite fan, so I don't buy these toys. I think the designs are pretty fun, and they have pretty cool accessories sometimes, but the line is so new, there's not really much to really say about it right now. It probably has, 15 releases? So for now, the Fortnite series is either going to go B or C. I'm probably thinking C tier for now. Maybe they'll change it as I rank more people. We'll see. But yeah, Fortnite C tier. Then we have the Transformers RED series. This is a bunch of non-transforming Transformers, which I think could be a good concept because most people want the pose of Transformers in robot mode anyways. And in the transforming figures, as far as I'm aware of, you never have a perfectly seamless robot mode. And the only way to do that is to have a non-transforming Transformer. The issues arise with this line is that this line's not very good. And I think all the figures are the same size, right? Isn't Bumblebee the same size as Optimus Prime in this line? That doesn't make any sense, right? So, while this line could have been something cool, it ends up being a pretty bad failure. So it goes in D tier. Then we have the Transformers Legacy series, which I look at this logo, and this logo looks like the Marvel Legends logo from when Hasbro first took over the Legends license. And I just can't unsee it. And I know there's a lot of Transformers toy lines. I don't know how many of them are modern lines, how many aren't. I know like the war. I'm kind of putting the War for Cybertron and those type of series in this Transformers Legacy series. I think that's where they go, but I don't really know. Not a Transformers fan. Let me know in the comments down below if I should have included them all individually. But I think they're all part of the same overall Transformer Legacy line. But I very well could be wrong. But people seem to like them. You know, they're not as great as like, you know, the import Transformer figures, but for an American company, for Hasbro specifically, people seem to like this series. So I think I'll put Transformers Legacy on B tier. I don't know how their live streams are. I never really hear a whole lot about them. Actually, maybe I'll put them in A tier because people seem to actually really, really like the series. So, but if I'm wrong, let me know. Maybe I'll put them lower. It's mine. I don't collect, so I don't have a whole lot to say. Transformers has never really been a big thing for me. And there's G.I. Joe Classified series, which blew me away. Shocked me. I'm not a huge G.I. Joe fan. I mean, I played with Joes a little bit as a kid, but G.I. Joe was never a huge interest of mine. I never wanted to like have every G.I. Joe toy ever or anything like that. But then at PulseCon last year, I saw Crocmaster and Fiona, and I'm like, oh man, I need that crocodile. And that crocodile guy looks really cool too. So then I'm like, okay, I guess I should go buy some more G.I. Joe figures, see how these things are. I bought them, and I love them. They're great. They blew my socks off. They're really, really good articulation scheme. Different than Legends, different than Star Wars, and pretty decent character selection. They've released like 4 Roblox and like 6 Snake Eyes already. But otherwise, I mean, the only big issue with G.I. Joe right now is that I think they've only released like 10 or 12 figures this year, which is really like, what is this? Like, is this line dying or, you know? I know it's not dying. It just started, and people love it. But it has so few releases. That's the only issue with this line. I'm going S tier with G.I. Joe Classified series. I think they have the potential to be consistently the best Hasbro toy line, as long as As long as they start getting their release schedule fixed, so they can get more figures into people's hands, that'd be great. Next up is the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. When Hasbro got the license from Bandai, they just blew Bandai out of the water. Those Bandai figures were garbage, and Hasbro is really killing it with, not killing it, but they're doing really good with Power Rangers. They're actually making the monsters and the characters they're making the characters other than the Rangers, which is awesome for Power Rangers fans. I'm not a Power Rangers fan, and I have heard people don't like the Rangers figures themselves a whole lot, and they have issues with some of the monsters here and there, like Goldar had some issues. But as a whole, I think this line is pretty decent, especially because I'm not a Power Rangers fan, but I see those toys on the shelf sometimes. I'm like, wow, those are pretty decent looking figures. I'll put them on B tier. I have a failure of a toy line. This is the Ghostbusters Plasma series. And the Plasma series, has like 10 figures, and then the line's like dead, basically. I mentioned earlier about Star Wars being a different scale than the other Hasbro lines. Like G.I. Joe is slightly smaller than Legends, but it works still. Star Wars is way smaller. And then you have Plasma series, which is extremely tiny. Like they're like maybe 5.5 inch scale. And so nobody wanted that. So the line didn't sell very well. And the line's dead now. So Ghostbusters is going to be D tier. People were really excited to have a Ghostbusters line from Hasbro, just for it to be garbage, unfortunately. Then we have the 3.75 inch Marvel Legends retro Kenner style figures, whatever. And I honestly don't know who likes these. Can someone tell me in the comments below, what is the appeal of vintage style figures in 2022? 5.5 POA figures in 2022. What is the appeal of that to me? I don't understand. Especially for toys like these that didn't have retro style figures looking like that. At least I'll get into it later on with some other lines. But I really don't understand it. I'm putting these in D tier. If I'm wrong, if people love these things, let me know. But I honestly don't know anyone who buys them. How they have like 8 waves already blows my mind. Speaking of vintage, here's Star Wars, the vintage series. At least Star Wars had a vintage toy line. I mean, Marvel had a vintage toy line too, but it wasn't like what they're doing now. Star Wars had the 70s and 80s toy line where they had the 5 POA. That makes sense. And maybe if you're a big fan of those old figures and you miss like Boba Fett or something, you just want to have that on the shelf. I can understand that more than with the Marvel Legends one. The Marvel Legends one just seems dumb, and I hate that they're using the same name as the other line. So the Star Wars vintage series, I'll put C tier, because at least there was a Star Wars vintage series in that style. So it makes more sense for them to be there. But still not something that appeals to me. I really do not understand the appeal of vintage figures, of modern vintage figures in 2022. I don't understand it. And a lot of companies doing like Super 7's doing the reaction figures, and I don't understand why that's so popular, but that's me. Next up is a property that Hasbro no longer has, but they had it up until 2017, so it's still a modern property. The Jurassic Park license. And back in the day, when Hasbro bought Kenner, and then Hasbro did the Jurassic Park 3 toy line, and then a couple figures after that throughout the years, they were all decent. And then Jurassic World came out, and they shit the bed on those figures. Those were the worst Jurassic figures ever made, and those figures made them lose the license for Jurassic Park. And now Mattel has it, and Mattel's doing a way better job. So Jurassic World, because this is a modern style list, Jurassic World is going D tier. Hasbro did so bad they lost the license on it. A huge failure that Jurassic World line was. This is the G.I. Joe classic series, like the O-ring style figures. Put these in C tier. Same as Star Wars, at least there was a vintage G.I. Joe line in this style. Makes sense. So, yeah, G.I. Joe, O-rings, C tier. Then we have Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm kind of confused by Dungeons and Dragons because they've made one figure. And that was it. And it was a good figure. That figure had some really nice articulation, some interchangeable hair pieces. You can take the hair off one head and put it on top of the other head and swap the hair. Some good accessories. That Panther was like the first of the of these posable animal figures that Hasbro's been doing lately with the Black series, with the Classified series line. I don't know why they only did the one figure and then it ended. I don't know if it's like the figure didn't sell well, which is probably what happened. I personally bought that figure. I have it as a dark elf behind Malekith on my Marvel Legends shelf. And I kept the Panther just to have a cool articulated Panther. But I was really hoping this line would continue. It'd be cool to have more elves and monsters from Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons fan. I don't even like the property. I just think it'd be fun to have more of those figures for like to use for like my Asgard shelf. But unfortunately, no. So Dungeons and Dragons is going D tier for the figure line itself. For the property, I think they're doing good stuff with the games and stuff, but for the figures, they're D tier. Then there's the Transformers Studio series, and I know people don't like the Transformer movies. I don't like them either. But I think the toys for the movies are actually good. I think the people who do buy the Studio Series figures enjoy the Studio Series figures. Maybe they're not fans of the movies, but the toys themselves they are fans of. And I think that's commendable. So I'll put them in A tier as well, probably. But again, I'm not a Transformers fan. So I don't really hear all the Transformer news and all the Transformers reactions. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people hate this, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty well-liked toy line. And then we're ending it off with another D list. This is another failure of a line. This is the Overwatch line by Hasbro. They still have the license for it, but they're not making figures for it anymore. I think the figures just failed miserably. So the line's kind of dead. And they had good accessories. They had some really cool accessories, but I think every single figure went to clearance. And they all peg warmed hard. And I think that was just the failure of a toy line. So Overwatch gets D tier. And that's the end of this list. I'm pretty sure I did. I mean, I didn't do every Hasbro toy line. I didn't do like, My Little Pony or, Little Pet Shop, stuff like that. Because those aren't adult collectible lines. I guess they could be, but I try to stick to the toy lines that people I know collect. Anything you feel like I missed, let me know in the comments down below. Especially the Transformers stuff. There's so many Transformers lines. I don't know if they're supposed to be individual different series or if they're supposed to be all in the same Legacy collection series. I have no idea. If you want to rank all these toy lines yourself, click the link in the description. It'll take you to tiermaker.com and you can put your own rankings in there and you can see the community rankings overall to see how your opinion compares to other people's opinions. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more videos in the future. Next time I do a tier ranking, it's probably going to be either a Ghost Rider Villains tier ranking because it's his 50th anniversary, or it'll be ranking all the different usages of the Spider UK body mold. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the little bell icon if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Let me know what else you guys want to see me rank. Catch you guys next time.